Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalatu wassalam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I was thinking about some of these gatherings that we go to, like the Maulid and the Burda, things like that. And the importance of understanding the role of angels, right? After Dhuhr prayer, we do what's called Hizb al-Nasr. The litany of help. And there's a part in there, Tahassantu bi la, right? Tahassantu bi malaikatillah, right? That you're calling on the fortification of the angels of Allah, right? And because what does that mean? And so when you start really getting into these, these litanies, you'll see that the masters of the way, they packed so much into them, right? It's not just a surface level thing. It's almost like they gave you a zipped file and you have to extract. There's so much to be extracted, right? You don't have to, in the sense that even, people who aren't so adept can benefit from it. But that there are levels that do go beyond just the surface. And so what does this mean? Like when you're calling down, right, the help of the angels, right? They're important because it's said that if it wasn't for them, that the shayateen, the devils, would kidnap you in the street, right? In other words, they are the ones responsible for keeping things that would have befallen you naturally. They're the ones who, stop that from happening. And so when we read this Tahassantu billah and malaikatillah, ayatillah, rasulillah, right? All these things that we're calling on the fortification on these things, hisn, like a fort, right? So when you use the verb, it's like, and the second form, it means to make you inaccessible to where you can't be touched, right? And so when we go to the Burda and we go to the Maulid and we go to these gatherings of dhikr and remembrance, what's interesting is that I remember a talk by Habib Khadim as-Saqaf, and he said that these angels, they have a right on us. And one of those rights is that that we take them to these gatherings, because there's a type of lazim with it, that they're stuck to us, especially the two that record the good and bad deeds, right? Even so much so that there are recordings that certain people would put out their shawl for them to sit on when they went to go relieve themselves, like a little bit far away, but not too far, because they can't just leave you. Their responsibility is to stay with you and to record your good and bad deeds and to, make sure everything's good with you. And so out of adab, out of good character and good manners towards the unseen, towards the angels, he would put the shawl out to give them a place to sit. It's to that point that they're stuck with you. And so these gatherings are important for that reason, right? Because what Habib Khadim said was that even at the time of death, there's a hadith that they don't leave you when you die. They'll even come to your grave and they'll say, oh, so-and-so, how many gatherings of remembrance did you bring us to? Right? Oh, so-and-so, how many gatherings of Quran and remembrance and dhikr and, you know, all these different gatherings that you brought them to. Right? And that they pray for you. So these gatherings are very important, right? These gatherings are where the people of Allah meet, right? And it's said that frequent the gatherings of remembrance. And there's no gathering of remembrance like the hearts of the awliya, right? And so, you know, what did they say when that Sahabi came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, you know, pray for me that I be, you know, good when it comes to being in the hereafter, in the akhirah. And he said, so help me by praying many rakahs, right? So you get the idea that if you're going to call on the help, that, you know, what's your end of that? And in this case, right, tahassantu bi malaikatillah, like calling on the fortification of the angels of Allah, what is your role in that? Bring them to these gatherings, right? Because like the hadith says, it's when you do that that they won't even leave you all the way up until the day of resurrection. And they'll constantly be, you know, imploring for your forgiveness. And these are the things that's needed. We need to understand the importance of combining the seen and the unseen, right? The world of the unseen, the ghaib, and the seen, both. And these gatherings are a way to do that with regard to the angels. So may Allah give us all the ability and the himmah to attend these gatherings with understanding that we will draw near to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam with it, and that we get the help of the angels all the way up until Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.